Nation? Welcome back to the Bros.
Woo!
We are like Miggy and Joseph,
We're synchronized.
synchronized bros.
Synchronized bros. That's
Excellent.
what's up.
So RSL Nation, we've been gone for what it's been like a week, which is
I,
really
I, I
rare.
am I haven't been gone. You've been gone.
Well, I mean, yes, I have been gone, but because I've been gone and because we haven't done a lot of this stuff, we missed out on an episode. Well, we didn't miss an episode. We just skipped one because, well, I didn't have very much signal where I was. But I gotta ask you, you were more present these past couple of days. How have you been?
Well, trying to survive like everybody with this so hot temperature outside. Um, but hey, it's what summer's all about. Burning up, getting hot. So enjoying it, along with a lot of Leagues Cup, which it's been a great couple of days so far. I can't complain.
That's good. That's good. I mean, speaking of burning up, because the Leagues Cup is on fire.
It is.
Um, but I will tell you where I was, I got burned. So it, yes, it is really hot. I was at Bear Lake, and Bear Lake it wasn't hot, just you're a lot closer to the sun, apparently. So, I did protect this, but all this was all red.
It's
So,
okay. For your birthday coming up, I'm gonna get you a bottle of sunscreen, okay? With your name on it.
make sure it's RSL sunscreen.
Okay, I'll make sure it's above SPF 50.
Okay, that's fine. Um, like we just said, we have a lot of Leagues Cup to go over. And when we say a lot, we mean because we didn't record on Monday, we have literally from day one up until now, which is today is the end of day two
Yeah,
matches. Do you realize that?
it is. So many games to cover. I'm enjoying this so much. We need this every year. I don't know why they've waited so long to finally do this tournament.
Actually, surprise, this Leagues Cup has happened before.
Well, not in this format. That's what I'm saying.
It's true. I maybe just a little blurb about this Leagues Cup. I didn't think it was going to be this much fun to watch.
Right, right.
I
It's
mean,
I'm addicted. I'm hooked.
let's just merge the leagues and let's just make one big super league.
Let's make a super leg.
Where have we heard that one before?
Hmm.
Um, so yes, there's a lot for us to cover, and we're really just going to give a quick couple of highlights of what we thought of the first two matches of some teams. Um, we're not going to get into RSL right at the beginning because there's just that many games. But let's just dive right into it. Day one was last Friday,
Yeah.
and
Um.
what do we had a lot of stuff just day one.
Yeah. So we saw Messi making his debut. He comes off the bench. Um, what was it? 56 minute?
I'm going to say yes without looking at
Yeah. So
any
we
application.
so we see Busquets, Martinez, along with Messi. All three come in at the same time.
Um,
At that point,
that's like killer for Miami.
right, right, and at that point, Cruz Azul was kind of owning them on possession and on shots and on everything because I was like, Cruz Azul is looking very dangerous, very good. Miami was playing Miami's kind of style, last place team, just kind of scraping by. But then, lo and behold, those three attacking players come in and kind of save the day for Miami.
I mean, we'll change the. I'm going to change your word. Save the day. They changed the entire game. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think a lot of people understood how good Messi was, but they didn't realize how good Messi is.
Yeah,
The his how is it? 36, 35,
he's
36.
36, 36.
So a 36-year-old is owning the mid 20s defenders in terms of attacking movement, ball dribbling. This guy he's a semi-god. Like literally, I
He's making players on Miami who weren't that good prior to Messi look good. We've seen. we'll talk about in a second, but Jonathan Taylor in their very last game in group stage against Atlanta score 2 goals. Who nobody really knew anything about Jonathan Taylor, and here's Messi helping him out. Jonathan Taylor's looking like Di Maria out there throwing out assists to Messi.
Yeah. So this first game for Miami is absolutely two it's like two different games like we talk about sometimes where the first half absolutely is not good. Second half is completely different. And it's only different because of those three players coming in. That's it. Those three.
Yeah,
Messi,
yeah.
Martinez, and Busquets. Busquets also 34, 35 years old.
Hmm.
He's owning the midfield like he's like some big boss out of nowhere. Um, it's crazy to think that MLS players have given so much time or so much space to a player like Busquets. He had all the time in the world.
Yeah, we saw right away, right when both players came on the pitch, Messi and Busquets are just syncing up, getting passes. It was just we were reliving their days at Barca, and it was fun to see that.
As I mean, speaking of reliving days at Barca, then Inter Miami gets a foul outside the penalty area, literally 2 minutes before the game ends. This is danger area for
Yeah,
Messi. This
yeah,
is like that's his area.
yeah.
You get a foul outside the area, and it's a free kick to Messi. What do you think is going to happen?
He does what Messi does, and that's just bury it because he has a gorgeous free kick, beautiful left foot, and you couldn't write a better script, honestly.
I mean, literally, it was so Miami scored first, right? No.
No, no, Cruz Azul did.
Oh yeah, Cruz Azul scored first.
Hmm.
Miami goes back, digs a goal, and then with this Messi free kick, like you just said, you couldn't have written a better script of
Yeah,
the best player in the world coming in as a substitute in his debut and making a free kick game-winning goal.
yeah, yeah. Words can't describe how amazing of a game that was, and the number of stars that came out to watch. And you had Serena Williams, LeBron James, all to witness history in his first game here in the U.S.
Yeah. That's secondary. That's all
That's that.
secondary.
That's all secondary. Yeah.
I mean, I could have cared less if the Pope was there. Messi is playing, my friends. Messi. Um, my goodness, like you said, there's no other words to describe it. So I'm not even gonna try to make this sound eloquent. It's just messy.
But then moving on to their second match, I kind of touched on it already against Atlanta United, against two teammates who played on the national team for Argentina, Almada and Messi, and this was just this was just a one way traffic.
That
We
that,
have
that was
we have Busquets, Messi, Martinez this time starting the match for Miami, and just from the get go, it was just all Miami.
I mean, let's not say it was all Miami. It was all messy.
Yeah.
My friends, the guy scored within what was it, the second minute, fifth minute, something like that.
Hmm. Hmm.
It was ridiculous. Messi is just on fire, and then he scores in the 23rd, 25th, something like that. This guy is insane. This guy is unbelievable.
Yeah.
So first two, he plays a game and a half basically, and he already has 3 goals and an assist.
And assist, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and then on top of that, second half, I think it's close to about the 80th minute or something like that. Keeper for Inter Miami comes up huge for a PK save on Almada, which that it didn't really look like Almada was kind of looking that direction where he was going to kick, and the keeper comes up big for that save.
Yeah. Um, I'm left speechless from with Messi. I'm left
Yeah,
speechless. I don't know what else to say besides he's Messi. I mean,
he
if you guys expected something else out of Messi coming to MLS, I'm sorry.
he
It's
he def
Messi.
he definitely showed and proved why he is the greatest football player of all time. And with those 2 wins, of course, Miami punches their ticket to the knockout stage.
Crazy. Crazy.
Yeah.
Some other games that caught our attention.
Yeah.
Leon Vancouver. That was a crazy one.
Yeah, because I think while it was happening, I sent you a picture and I was like, we're 16 rounds into this. Well, of course, we'll back up really quick. Former RSL player Sergio Cordova scored two. He had a brace in this game.
Let me tell you, that guy has the most bipolar goal scoring like rhythm of like anyone I've ever seen.
He'll
Um,
he'll, he'll go from injured, not playing at all, and then all of a sudden scoring a lot, and then flip flopping.
yeah, I don't get him. I really don't. But it, whatever. It is what it is. The guy comes in and or not comes in. He scores two goals. I
Hmm.
mean, good for him. He started, scored two goals,
Yeah,
gets subbed out. The game ends 2-2,
yeah,
regulation, so they go into PKs. My friend, I haven't witnessed a lot of long PK round shootouts.
yeah.
This was one of them. I may have witnessed maybe three in my life. This one went to 19 rounds.
I think this is the longest round, the most I've ever seen ever in my life. Nobody was missing.
I mean, let's do some math here. There are 11 players on each team.
They
That
got to the
means
point where, yeah, they got to kickers were kicking twice. A few,
yes, like we're three away from doing two whole teams worth of kicks.
yeah,
Um, I guess just to make this short, Leon won the
16,
PKs
15.
16-15. So that
Crazy,
is a
unbelievable.
lot. Um, what other games stuck out to you in this first couple of rounds?
Um, I'm gonna have to say Mazatlan. Mazatlan was kind of a surprise team along with Austin. I expected Austin with having that home field advantage. Of course, them being the only American team with two Mexican teams in their group would have done better. But Mazatlan 5 points in two matches, it's very surprising.
Right, because they beat Austin and then they beat Juarez in
Hmm.
penalty kicks. So
Yeah,
Mazatlan looks like the actual dark horse and not the dark horses that we mentioned
yeah,
in our predictions.
yeah,
Um, that's that's crazy. Let's mention real quick that as of right now, as we're talking, um, Chivas and Cincinnati are in a rain or in a storm delay, weather
yeah,
delay.
yeah.
This was supposed to be the hyped up game of the top two teams from both leagues.
Hmm.
And as we sit right now, Chivas is winning, not Chivas, Chivas isn't winning. Cincinnati is winning 2-0.
And mind you, prior to halftime, Chivas got a red card.
Right. So that's also a sticky one.
Hmm.
So there's so much going on right now, but
Yeah.
we're gonna switch gears real quick, and we're gonna talk about the two RSL games. The well, RSL's only two games that they've played, um, and let's just break those down real. I was gonna say real quick. It's not gonna be real quick. Trust me, it's not. But let's talk about that because these two games were almost night and day.
Oh, absolutely.
I would almost say day and dusk because there's some light in the
Yeah,
second
yeah.
game.
I think with both games, there's definitely some positives, some negatives to look at. But yeah, let's start with that Seattle game. So with that Seattle game, we came out with a great lineup. Of course, Andrew Brody still on concussion protocol, so he was out for this game. So Oviedo was getting that start. Anelli, I'm getting that start over Hidalgo, and no Justin Glad. Justin Glad doesn't get the start. Instead, we get Marcelo Silva back with Vera, which I was kind of hesitant on that one. But then we get our same normal midfield: Saba, Ojeda, Ruiz, and Luna, and then the two former teammates in Moose and Chicho.
Um, so with the that defensive change in the back, what do you think the strategy was against Seattle to put those kinds of defenders back there? Instead of Glad, they put in Silva. Why?
Yeah, that's a good question. I because I feel like Glad would have been a better option just to maybe stop Ruidiaz and Chu, because I just don't feel like Silva can be able to maybe I'm mistaken, but I feel like Glad would have had that speed. What are your thoughts on that one?
Um, here's my thoughts. When I saw these two with Vera and Silva in the middle, I'm thinking they wanted the Great Wall of Salt Lake.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the only reason why. It was this was more of a physical dominance game, um, which I think they should have had in game two, but they couldn't
Hmm.
because uh,
Yeah.
Silva got a red card. But let let's go through this because we actually didn't score in the first half. It was zero
No,
zero.
we had tons of chances. So we look at the first half stats. We were owning that possession at 63% possession, 13 shots compared to Seattle's two, and four of those were on target for RSL. So many good chances, but it's the same story every single match. We just can't finish those chances at all.
Yeah, I mean, having much possession in the first half, that many shots. I mean,
Yeah,
you could feel it. You could feel it. We're gonna score at some point. Um, so I didn't feel like we were losing at any point. In fact, I didn't think we were giving up anything. But
yeah.
it was that lack of one, but just get in the goal.
Yeah, and with having such a small crowd that came out for that first group stage match, it was still a good atmosphere. Only about 10,000 that came out for this match.
Yeah, that's kind of rough,
Yeah,
but it is what it is. Second half though, obviously,
yeah.
we got some goals, but
We see three substitutions made by Seattle. We see Jordan Morris come into the match, which was kind of a surprise for him not starting this match off the get go.
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's strange, but at the same time, I think because he had been gone on Gold
Gold
Cup
Cup.
duty,
Yeah,
so they just don't want to mess up what they had while he was gone. But you'd think that I guess when I saw Jordan Morris come in, I was like, "Oh crap, they are real serious about this," because it's not like
absolutely.
they didn't take off Rui Diaz; they kept him
No,
on. So it was Rui Diaz, Morris, and Rusnak attack.
yeah, which is still dangerous.
You can't say Rusnak and attack in the same sentence. That's funny. Um, so I was worried, but I mean, literally 3 minutes into the the second half, goal,
that was a magnificent goal. That was Sava does what Sava does best.
Sava goal.
Sava goal.
3 minutes later, Chicho goal.
We've said it before in this. Always watch for Pablo Ruiz's left foot. He has a beautiful left foot, and his left foot just over the top to Chicho. Chicho has a defender on his left hand side, and he just in out with his cuts, and he's like, I'm going to shoot the shot, and he just right over the keeper's top.
He shot his shot.
Yeah,
Um, and then we got some other changes that went on. So, um, we had Musovski come off in the 72nd minute, and here comes in Rubio Rubin, which the previous game, the game before League's Cup, Rubio scored,
yeah,
which we're like, great. He comes back great from Gold Cup, puts in a goal for us, and then comes in here as a substitute and puts in a goal for us. This is like magic at this point.
yeah. It's brings me back to the old school Rubio Rubin about almost 2 years ago, where he was kind of that goal scoring machine.
Two,
But
3 years ago.
yeah, that was a great look by Anderson Julio to Rubio Rubin right there to finish that. But I just want to rewind real quick about 20 minutes prior to that third goal by Rubin to the red card by Marcelo Silva. It was one of those what was he thinking? Because he in his mind he thinks that he got all ball, but he comes in there, studs up, gets the player right in the shin.
Look, it goes back to him being part of the Great Wall of Salt Lake. It's they
Yeah.
they go in hard. They go in aggressive.
Ex-
Um,
Exactly.
and unfortunately, is that split second where the the opponent's leg was in the right place at the right time for Marcelo to just clobber it.
Yeah.
Because if it was half a second earlier or later, you're not looking at a red card. You're maybe looking at a yellow card, or just a simple foul. Because put that leg, literally shift it an inch either way, and the boot, it misses the leg. It's just gonna go right through it. It's not gonna be, for me. If we're looking in slow motion, you're looking at a yellow orange card. It's not like total red.
Orange card. Ooh, I like that. I'll have to go. I need one of those cards.
Well, there's a there's a lot of orange cards going around right now, in this league's cup.
Yeah.
So but the only thing that surprised me in that second half was the amount of possession that we did not have. That
Yeah.
second half was mostly controlled by Seattle,
Yeah.
in terms of possession, which was super surprising. And yet we still outshot them in the second half as well.
Yeah. I was very surprised by that as well because you would think with well, yeah, they did have the man advantage, but somehow they didn't score any goals and we snuck away with that victory.
And I'm not going to lie, I think the majority of that possession came after the red card,
Yeah.
and after our triple subs in the 72nd minute with
Hmm.
Luna, Sava, and Moose leaving the game. The remaining 20 minutes of that game was mostly just Seattle trying to find space, but we would do our little counter attacks and whatnot, which obviously brought us to the Rubio goal in the 88th minute.
Yeah. Yeah. So huge victory for first game in our group stage against Seattle. So puts us at 3 points plus three on goal differential. But then we move to the the unfortunate game that occurred last night.
Well. I mean, don't be like those homers like, oh, it was a bad game, whatever. No,
it, it, it,
it was
it, it,
fine.
what it was a learning experience. We'll say that.
Well, how about this? Let's talk about how we felt after the Seattle game. We felt really good.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We
I
felt really
I
confident.
any game where we beat Seattle is always a good time.
Well,
Beating Rusnak and Seattle.
uh,
It's
apart from from beating Seattle, I mean, obviously it's good to beat Seattle because obviously they're one of our rivals. But in the way we beat them and how the team is currently, that's what made it feel good
oh
because
yeah, yeah,
it just it was a confirmation of everything that the team's been doing. And now we step into Leagues Cup, we're still competing. So that it was a good feeling there.
for
And
sure.
that's the feeling that we brought into the Seattle or the Monterrey game. I mean, you saw it in our predictions. We're like, we feel confident that we're going to be doing something. And in fact, everyone was hyped up because it was the so-called revenge game.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I thought things were going to be a lot different, but then we look at the this lineup that RSL comes out with, which was complete opposite of what we saw in the Seattle match.
Now,
Right from the
now, how many changes were there?
let's count them. So we have Beavers who starts. We have Bodie who starts. Completely same midfield, but then we have Rubin instead of Moose. So we have three changes. Oh, and
Four.
sorry, and Glad. Sorry, my bad because of the red card from Marcelo. So we have four changes, but four of those, I feel like maybe a few of those are kind of what maybe costed us a few of those goals.
Two of those changes for me were not necessary.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't think Beavers needed to come in.
He's
He's not too much worse, but I think McMath in this game we needed some experience, especially against a high level team.
yeah, like I'm okay with Beavers getting playing time in Open Cup because Open Cup is a time to have your younger players play. But in a big match against one of the best CONCACAF teams, it's not the time. I don't
Nah,
think.
I don't share the same opinion. Um, I like I said, I'm fine with Beavers coming in. I'm fine with him playing league. I'm fine playing with him Open Cup. I think this particular game needed experience.
Yeah,
It doesn't take away from the fact that he made incredible saves. He did. I mean,
he did absolutely.
in fact, I don't think any of the goals were his fault, to be honest. Um, But then the other change that I think was not necessary was Rubin. I don't think he needed to come in. I don't.
Well,
I think we could have kept Moose in.
yeah, yeah. I was about to say Moose and Chicho. We've seen when they have been playing together have that good chemistry that they've built in their playing days on LAFC.
I think,
Uh,
but here's my thing. I'm gonna go on a Rubio spiel real quick. Um, my spiel is this: Rubio is a hardworking player.
yeah.
And we love him for it.
Hmm.
Now, I think RSL is moving away from hardworking players to tactically smart players.
Hmm.
Rubio is one of those that'll just hit his head on the wall, just keep going and going until he breaks through. I really think we're moving past that right now. We are tactically getting better. Our we are getting better as I'm looking at the lineup. Our midfield is getting more technical
Yeah,
instead of just like charging upfield. It's more technical now. That does not Rubin doesn't fit into that kind of style, which is what I think hurt us in the attacking sense of this game.
yeah. I definitely agree. There was moments in this match where Rubin just didn't have that stamina. He couldn't finish shots, obviously, and seeing Moose or even Anderson Julio would have been a better option because we've seen Anderson Julio have that speed, been able to keep up with other players.
He's a bench player, Julio. Like, we need Julio to come off the bench. Like he
No, no.
helped, he helped off the bench, but I think that was Moose's spot that shouldn't have been changed. I think for me, my point of view, I think Pablo got really confident in what Rubio was showing the past two games, and he thought, cool, now I have a goal scorer to switch out with Moose, so let's switch him out. I think that killed us because hindsight, I would have thought, let's play two games in a row, 2 games in 4 days, whatever. Um, and then you have over a week of rest. Just play. That's why I wouldn't have changed the lineup.
Do you feel like on some of those, like on the first one for that own goal by Justin Glad, do you feel like having not having Oviedo and maybe somebody different would have made a difference because we see Oviedo get beat twice on the first and second goal.
Well, here's the issue for me with that left back position.
Yeah,
Um, Anelli, I want Anelli to play, but he's not a left back.
that's why with having Brody out with concussion protocol, it sucks because
It killed us. It really
it,
did because we can complain that Brody sometimes is
he,
his sprint is a little slower,
he
but
he gets beat. Yeah.
he has fast pace, faster pace than
Mm-hmm.
Oviedo, because
Oviedo's he's kind of I don't want to say washed up, but he's kind of a little bit older to be playing a left back position.
well, I mean, he plays it fine against teams that don't counter or that don't make runs down the wings.
Yeah.
Where the first goal that happened was we saw him in a position to play defense to receive, but what he it seemed like forgot was there was a guy behind him making the run. This isn't the
Mm-hmm.
first time we've talked about Oviedo missing a guy making a run.
Yeah.
And so this run obviously was the primary cause of the goal. So we had the run down their right, our left,
Our left. Yeah.
and they cross it in. And unfortunately, this is why, as a coach, you tell your players to cross it into the area or into the box because defenders sometimes make mistakes. And that's what happened here. Justin stumbled over his feet and couldn't figure out how to get the ball out, how to clear it out.
Yeah.
Stumbles over. I say stumbles. I think his reaction was seconds, like milliseconds late on clearing the ball because literally milliseconds, if he put his foot like milliseconds before that ball got there, it would have gone out for a corner.
It,
But
it, it was a fast pass that was passed into the middle, and he didn't have enough time at all. And
he scored a perfect goal. I mean, it was literally a great touch into the net.
yeah, for those who are on our poll who said Glad was going to score first, you guys got it right.
Man, we're gonna listen to you from now on.
Yeah, yeah, but then in that second goal, I think I called it in our last episode, or maybe I'm just thinking in my head, but Bertarame, he scored an amazing goal with that assist by Aguirre. So
Aguirre,
Aguirre,
was it? Yeah, it was Aguirre. Yeah.
yeah,
Um, yes. So Berterame is a dangerous goal
yeah.
scorer, and you said it. I remember you said it. So um, it's tough to see that the defense broke down so early, and we're talking the 8th minute and the 13th minute. It's
Well,
literally
it was
five minutes apart.
the that second goal comes off a great counter attack because we're in the hunt. I think we get fouled outside the box. There was no call, and then that's when Monterrey comes and they come and counter, and then they bury that.
Yeah, and that's what that for me that was kind of like the story of the game where we couldn't come up with a shot or we couldn't come up with a goal, whatever the outcome was on our end,
Hmm.
and all Monterey had to do was counter. They they didn't have a lot of per se um build up. A lot of their passes were, in fact, um if I look at the stats correctly, the majority of Monterey's passes were in their own half.
That's
Uh,
true.
so that tells me that they just played a lot of defensive possession to try to keep
Hmm.
the ball away from us, and it wasn't so much as offensive. And that's what kind of for me sucks because we did the opposite. There by a small margin, we had more passes in the opposition's half, so in the offensive half,
Yeah.
which means that we were attacking, we were trying to create, and that's what's frustrating with having the possession, that the kind of possession that we had, the amount of shots that we had, and the amount of big chances that we had. In fact, we could even celebrate. Julio wasn't even offside ever. I
He
mean,
wasn't,
we had zero offsides in this game. So
which is usually about like two a game for him.
yeah, so we had the runs. Everything was there. Um, the it's just frustrating to see that we played well. We played well for me. We played well. This was one of those losses that you scratched off saying we played well. The
It's
soccer
it,
gods were angry at us.
it's unfortunate that our winning streak had to come into an end because it was what since May 31st in that LA Galaxy game. So that was a long streak. Sad that it has to come to an end. Question for you: we saw some of our substitutions. Obviously, at halftime we're down 2-0. But our first substitution was Rubio coming off, and then Anderson Julio. Would you have liked to see some of those substitutions, those attacking players, come in sooner to maybe sneak away to get a goal? Because we saw Musovski and then Palacio come in not until the 80th minute.
Yeah. The last two subs I would have wanted 10 minutes earlier.
Oh yeah,
If we put them in the 70th minute, that third goal doesn't happen. If we put them in the 70th minute, I think we have more possibility of scoring.
it
For me.
it kind of makes me a little upset that we have this new player in Palacio and he only gets 10 minutes of playing time. Like I want to see more of him. I want to see what he can produce in the midfield to give us some chances.
Well, the time that he had was productive. He was able
Yeah,
to stamp out fires. I mean, there's a couple of ones of them that come to mind where he would just cut off a pass, or he would make a good tackle and pass it up front to whatchamacallit, to Ruiz, who would then carry on the play.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. Don't get me wrong. Like Palacio in his 10 minutes that he did play, he was 9 for 10 on his passing, so 90%. So he did produce and he did have a good showing in the 10 minutes that he did play.
yeah, I think what surprised me, to be honest, was the fact that we kept in Chicho for so long.
Yeah,
But I think that was because we had Rubin in there that got substituted early.
Hmm.
I think that for me, I when I see a substitution like this of Rubin done so early, I think for me, I interpret it as a oh crap moment for the coach, saying,
Why did I start him over Moose? Yep.
yeah, that for me that was an oh crap moment because at that point,
It seems like Pablo is kind of riding high on Rubio. He's like, hey, Rubio did so good in the Seattle match. I'm gonna start him again, and he's kind of punching himself in
yeah,
for that.
for this game, Rubio Rubin did not show up. You see
No,
that in his 58 minutes, 58 whole minutes, he only did 7 passes.
yeah, 7 for 9 for 78%.
Like, my friend, where were you on the field?
Yeah, I think when Monterrey scored that second goal, I was wondering. I was like, where
Uh,
are you?
yeah, and unfortunately, I did not see a good pair up or a good
No,
match with Chicho. Even though we asked for it. I mean, it's okay. It's okay. We asked for it. They tried it. Now we know it doesn't work.
this is why I'm glad that RSL, I guess as you'd call it, the group of death. This is why I'm kind of glad we had Monterrey and Seattle to kind of learn from those mistakes what to expect if we make it to the knockout stage, if we are grouped with another Liga MX team, because of course Monterrey is one of the best in Liga MX. So like you said, I'm not totally upset about this loss. It's just a learning experience.
I mean, we'll chalk it up to a learning experience, but
Yeah.
I think it's better that we lose now
Oh yeah.
where we still have the chance to move on. This has a feel, and everyone's gonna, if whoever listens might jump on the bandwagon saying, "What are you talking about?" But this has an Argentina feeling, Argentina World Cup feeling, where we lose to Saudi Arabia in the first game, and then
So
after that,
I was like,
you you know what I'm saying.
I was like, are you comparing Saudi Arabia to Monterrey?
Not really. Yes, I am. But what I'm saying is that a streak ends. And
Yeah, yeah.
there's a lot of pressure to keep up a streak. There really is. I mean, Argentina had to they're trying to break the record of 37 straight games not losing.
No, for sure, for sure.
This one
And
was the longest streak that we've ever had in our club history.
yeah, and at some point, streaks have to come to an end, and I'm kind of glad it did at this point. But we'll
I
chalk it
mean,
up, and
imagine if it was done in the elimination round where boom, you don't even get to move on. Right now, we have the chance to still move on in the tournament.
yeah, yeah. So let's talk about that. So of course we're done with our matches. So you only have three teams in each group. We've played both of ours, Seattle, Monterrey. So Seattle and Monterrey they play each other on Sunday in Seattle, where if we look at the table as we speak, Monterrey is in first place at 3 points at the +3. Seattle at 0 points at -3. So Alan, what needs to happen for Seattle to jump us in and to get that knockout stage?
So, in order for Seattle to move on, they would need to have a goal differential of +4 against Monterrey.
Whew.
That's the only way that they can move on a guaranteed spot into the next round. Um, I don't want to get into the whole situation of if Seattle wins 3
Yeah.
nothing, we now well I'm just gonna say it that way I plant the idea. If Seattle wins 3 nothing, then we have 3 teams with 3 points with 0 goal differential that have beat each other. All
Nope.
of
Nope. Don't like that. Don't like that.
that sounds horrible. And I think from what I understand, goes down to fair play, which means
Yeah.
yeah, cards.
We, we,
Period.
we, we have too many cards. So that doesn't look good for us at all.
Well, I
But
mean,
if
I will say this though, real quick. We only have a yellow. Oh no, never mind. We have 4 yellows and a red.
okay, okay. But if you look at Seattle's matches thus far this season, they've only won 4-0 once this season. That was their home opener to Colorado Rapids. So they have done it, but obviously to Colorado. feeling very optimistic in this one, unless Monterrey does sit some players because they're playing on turf, but I don't think that's going to happen at all.
Yeah. Yeah. So the likelihood of RSL moving on is pretty realistic. But we can't count our eggs right now because the game has not happened.
Yeah,
But there are a lot of teams that have already moved on. In fact, I
there
think
are.
there's 6 teams that have already moved on. Can you name them?
Leon, Philadelphia, Miami, Mazatlan. Well, obviously LAFC and Pachuca.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
but I'm talking about from this stuff. So that's 4.
oh, and Dallas.
There you go, and Dallas. So oh, and I must have said 6. Oh yeah, there is a 6th.
Oh, is DC United? No, not
Nope,
DC United. Oh, New England. New
New
England.
England. There we go. I knew I had counted them before and we talked about it.
Yeah,
All right, so 6. So those 6 have guaranteed berths into the next round. First or second, that's still yet to be figured out because in the case of like Dallas and New England, they have 4 points, whereas the
yeah.
last place team has 0. So they move on, but they now need to see if they sit first or second.
Yeah, so knockouts begin Wednesday, I believe. It goes Wednesday to Friday. Um, if we do advance, if then we possibly would be playing Friday. Obviously, we need everything to happen to for that to happen.
Um, and and our most likely opponent would be Leon, and
Who?
Leon being a Liga MX team
Yeah, yeah.
means
They
what?
we know what to expect.
Well, you did not read my mind. It means that we're going to be playing at home
Oh, exactly. You, yeah,
because obviously Leon is not from Utah or from the United States.
you don't want to make the travel down to Leon.
Though though I'm not going to lie, the sound of it just listening to saying Leon is going to obviously get the higher seed is not going to host
I know
kind of has me thinking, are they going to use like some other stadium maybe?
that yeah, I don't like that at all. So you're saying that a second seed or second place and then a first seed League MX team can't host? That's kind of messed up. I don't like this.
I don't know, but get ready anyways, just in case they're like, yeah, so like you host, even though you're the second seed.
So you're telling me we got Leo the Lion against Leon?
Ooh,
Ooh,
the battle of the Leones.
the Battle of the Leones. I like it. Ooh,
Ooh, this is a real royal battle.
I see what you did there, my friend.
These are really bad dad jokes. Um, so yeah, if everything goes well Sunday for RSL, that means we play Friday,
Yeah.
August 4th. Um, I want to know how your brackets are doing so far, real quick.
Yeah, yeah.
I have
Do you
mine
have
up. Do you have yours up? I'll pull yours up.
yeah, you pull mine up. I don't have them up in front of me.
I'm that nice. I'm that guy.
You're such a nice pal. I should be tracking my bracket, but I'm like, it's gonna probably be a dumpster fire like all my brackets that I make whenever I do.
I will ask you to read me off the
Oh,
actual table
okay. Here
and
we go.
I'll read off yours.
Okay, I got. Oh, you have my. Here, I'll pull up the actual table so then you can read off mine.
Yep.
Okay, so for Group One, we have first place right now is Portland, Tigres, and then San Jose.
So you in West 1 have Tigres, Portland, San Jose, where I have Tigres, San Jose, Portland. I am going to be losing that one.
In our group in West number two, right now it's Monterrey, Salt Lake, and then Seattle,
And that's how you have it. That's how I have it.
as it will be. In the next one, in West number three, it is Leon, Vancouver, LA.
Both of us. Oh, no, never mind. You have, oh no, I have Leon LA, Vancouver, whereas you have Leon, Vancouver, LA. So
In
you're doing good.
in Central number one, right now it's as it stands with America winning tonight. It's America Columbus St. Louis, and St. Louis is knocked out.
And you have Columbus, America, St. Louis, just like I do.
In Central number two, it's Minnesota Chicago Puebla with Chicago winning tonight.
Um, so you have Minnesota, Chicago, Puebla. I don't. I messed up on this one. This was supposed to be my 15 upset. Um, I have Puebla, Minnesota, Chicago.
Interesting, interesting. In Central number three, it's well, this one's kind of interesting because we have the rain delay that's going on. But as it
Mhm.
stands right now, it's Cincy, Kansas City, Chivas.
Oh, but that's because Chivas hasn't played a game,
Yeah,
right? And Chivas is losing anyways.
yeah. So
You have Cincy Chivas Sporting. No, sorry, that's me. Cincy Chivas Sporting. Oh yeah, you copied me.
yeah. So then in Central number four, with Toluca's huge win tonight, it's Toluca, Nashville, Colorado.
And we both have Nashville, Toluca, Colorado.
Yeah. And then we move to South number one. Like I mentioned, it's Mazatlan, Juarez, and Austin.
We messed up hardcore on this one. Like we fell flat on our face. This one is Juarez, Austin, Mazatlan.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
Uh, and then we go to South number two. Right now it is Austin, Orlando, Santos.
stop. You said Austin. Try again.
Houston, Orlando, Santos.
Houston, Orlando, Santos. Um, I have Orlando, Santos, Houston, and you have Santos, Orlando, Houston.
Oh, interesting, interesting. South number three. Right now, as it stands, it's Miami, Cruz Azul, Atlanta.
Yep, we messed up on this one. We had Atlanta, Miami, Cruz Azul.
Yeah, yeah. South number four. Right now, as it stands, it is Dallas, Charlotte, Necaxa.
Oh yeah. What'd you say? Dallas, Charlotte, Necaxa?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I have Dallas, Necaxa, Charlotte, and that's what you have too.
And then we go to East number one. Right now, it is Philly, Tijuana, Querétaro.
You nailed that one. But I had Querétaro, Philly, Tijuana. Hey, one can dream. One can dream.
Uh, East number two. Right now, it is DC, Montreal, and Pumas.
Yep, I had Pumas, DC, Montreal. Oh no, yeah, that was me. You had, sorry, lost my page. Don't you just love it when that happens? You're like looking through this. Oh, yep, same thing.
Okay. East number three. Right now it's NYC, Atlas, and Toronto.
Yep, we have Atlas, New York, Toronto.
And then wrapping everything up, all for it all, we got New England, Red Bulls, and San Luis.
New England, San Luis, Red Bulls. Mine, same thing.
Same thing. So I would say from the sounds of it, I think I'm leading
Yeah, we'll see after Monday after
af-
this round,
after
because
Monday.
right now currently no points are given because you don't get points until the next round to see how many of your picks move on.
We'll see. We'll see.
This cup is crazy.
I'm
I
like it.
love it.
I love it. Is this is a wonderful time, and then immediately right after this cup is over, we get another cup. We'll get semifinals in a couple of weeks. So
Oh my goodness. Um, and just so everyone is aware, just because RSL doesn't have a game this weekend doesn't mean that you guys shouldn't be keeping an eye on some of these games because there are a lot of games that are coming down to the wire because of these groups are so small. Every game counts. So
Hmm.
this last round, third round, is gonna be super intense.
Yeah, from goal differential to even coming down to cards, everything matters in this small groups. So keep an eye on every single game, just because RSL is not playing. And also, make sure you head to Instagram, head to Twitter, even head to Threads at the RSL Bros. If you're watching this video, hit the subscribe button. Follow us on the Spotify as well. If you don't want to look at our faces, because who does?
But you're forgetting something, my friend.
What am I forgetting, my friend?
What time is it?
Oh, I do know what time it is. It is prediction time.
Because so everyone knows
You guys are
e-
probably confused. You're like, RSL's not playing.
exactly. But because it involves RSL, we are going to predict Seattle
Seattle,
Monterrey.
Seattle, Monterrey. So
Go first.
I'll go first. I'm crossing my fingers. I'm praying to the soccer gods that I'm going to be the biggest Monterrey fan this Sunday. So give me a 2-0 win for Monterrey.
All right, I can do that. Just because of how well Monterrey played against us, they didn't play the best, but because of how well they played against us and because of how well we played against Seattle, that just means double against Seattle. I'm gonna go big because we're gonna go big. 4-0 Monterrey win over Seattle.
I like it. I like 7 goals in group stage. Wow. Wow. Impressive.
It's gonna be a bomb.
Drop the hammer.
Yeah. So exactly what Marco said. Go to our social media, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, YouTube, Spotify. Find us there. We have a lot of content. Today's episode, we didn't even get to even half of the things we probably wanted to talk about because everything like goes like in one ear out the other, goes out of our heads. But
It happens.
also, we probably could have talked a lot more. But for the sake of your guys' time, we'll keep it a little shorter.
I like it. I like it. But catch us next episode on Monday when we break down everything, the conclusion of all of this. We'll talk about the Seattle Monterey game and then what that means for who will potentially be playing in the knockout stage.
It's
But
true.
until
It's
then,
true.
but until then, catch you guys next time. Ka-chow!
Oh, don't say that. Cha-chow!